Hey guys, Patrick here. In this video, it's just going to be a short update, and then I'm going to show you basically all the heating and tubing and things like that, and hopefully I'll be able to test the actual water loop once I am done. But I believe this will take the most amount of time. The most consuming part is actually doing the bends with the acrylic with the heat gun. But what I've done now is I've actually put in all my fittings in, and as you can see here, the little one that's sticking out around here, the EK thing, is just for our, the drip is if we need to remove some of the liquid one day, we need to change it out or something like that. I've put that in there. I do actually have one of these, but it actually came broken, so I can't use it and I need an extra fitting, so I just suggested I'll block it up with a little blockage and then I'll be able to use it if I ever need it. So I'll be returning this one because it's not really needed, plus it's broken. But what we're gonna also try to do today is actually make the acrylic runs actually look nice. So hopefully I can get nice straight lines, nice 90-degree bends without it looking tacky. So I'm gonna try and do that. So guys, stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get it done today. So first of all, I had to make some actual holes, drill them into the case. This is a customizable case, perfect for modding. So I had to drill a few bits and pieces to actually fit the reservoir in, and I tried with just a Dremel, and I thought the metal was going to be a little bit softer than what it was. Unfortunately, the Dremel did nothing at all. So I switched out to the more powerful drill. The drill was, well, look, I didn't have any metal bits that were actually able to drill through metal, so I just used a standard wooden one. I had a lot spare, so it wouldn't really matter to me if they got destroyed. So guys, remember, if you are using a drill bit that's not made for metal, you drill through metal, that'll be a one-time use for that drill bit. I did manage to make 4 holes with it, but after that, I did chuck it out because it was basically gone. That was it for that lovely drill bit. The installation of the actual reservoir was actually a little bit harder than I thought. There was a lot of bits and pieces, and I did actually also forget to put in the little light LED that came through with the actual reservoir. There's a spot just behind it where I'm now screwing this plate in that you can slip in a little LED, and basically if you don't have this like out of its case and taken apart, you can't put this LED in. So after I mounted it, I was not able to put my LED in. There is another story to this because I had to take my whole loop apart later, but you can check that out in my upcoming video, so stay tuned, stay subscribed. There's a lot more content coming up about the exciting things that will happen and have happened in this build. Now, I'm not going to show you every one of the bendings and stuff, that's pretty boring, but just so you can see, this is some of the ways I had to do it. Basically, heat it up until I was ready to try it out and actually fit it in on the spot. There was a lot of eye measuring, a lot of trying multiple things. I didn't actually waste too much of the acrylic tube. I found that I was able to use, half of the tube or the whole thing to really get one run going. So I bought too many, so I had a few left over, which is good, and everything fit in pretty well. The thing I would suggest, guys, is make sure you put a lot of paper around your build when you're actually going to be filling up your liquid loop, because accidents can definitely happen. And one of the things you want to do is protect your components. One of the things you shouldn't be doing is plugging in your motherboard like I have, but the one thing I couldn't do is, for some reason, I couldn't find the boot pins on my PSU, which is what you can see here trying. I'm trying to boot it up without actually having it plugged into the motherboard, but I ended up having to plug it into the motherboard and running a few cables to the button. And so then filling it up. This was probably the most heartbreaking moment of my life, so if you keep watching while I speak, you will realize why. But I used an old tube to get the liquid in. The liquid bottle from Thermaltake C1000 had a little nozzle almost that you can use to squeeze and spray. I didn't want to spray it from the top, so I used a little tube. But as you can see, I had some trouble. It wasn't quite right. Something was just not quite right with using a squeeze bottle and a little tube going into this flathead type reservoir bit. Now, I do not recommend this reservoir when you're filling. Be super careful. But yeah, oh god, that was just horrible. No damage was done to any of the components. I was able to clean everything up. The only thing that sort of got a little bit of liquid on it was the RAM. I was able to take off those heat sinks and clean that up. Because it wasn't powered, it was fine. I let it dry a little bit, and I was able to go ahead and get everything fired up. So as soon as I was able to get everything fired up, had to get the air bubbles out as soon as I could to make sure the system is running well. What you can see now is how beautiful that C1000 liquid looks, and I have to say, after a few days, this is not the look that I was expecting. So stay tuned for a video about what happened to this C1000 coolant and why it went out the window. Alright guys, this is it, the moment of truth. It's been almost 24 hours, nothing has leaked. I've plugged in a few bits and pieces right here. I've plugged everything in, as you can see, just to test it out if it works. So here we go, I'm gonna try it out, I'm gonna boot it. So I've got the power's gonna flick on. Nothing's exploded, and I'm gonna press the button. I've plugged in the button, that's the only thing I've plugged in, so hopefully once I flick this, it should all just come to life. I've got the monitor over here, and we've got post! 32 gigs of RAM, 1 hard drive, error with the CPU. CPU fan error. Okay, let's have a look. I think this is pretty normal, and I'm just gonna go F10, see if it boots into Windows. Because I haven't got anything plugged in yet into the actual CPU monitor, I'm not really actually monitoring any fan speeds or temperatures right now. I just want to see if it actually boots into Windows. And okay, Republic of Gamers, we're still going. It's loading. If this boots into Windows, I'm gonna be super, super happy. Come on, baby. You can do it. Okay, alright, it's thinking about it. Maybe it's getting all the drivers together. There we go, getting devices ready. Holy crap, I've been stressing out since what you saw on the video, what happened with when I was pouring the actual liquid in. It was a bit, heart-stopping in fact. I felt like everything just collapsed on me, but seems to me everything seems to be running pretty well. Oh, the resolution has fixed itself. We're running on HDMI through the card. The card itself is running pretty well. Obviously, there's no issues with that. As you can see, there's no, I don't know, random lines, artifacts, or anything like that. Alright guys, it's time to finalize the build, get everything together, make it look nice, and we'll do a lot of videos on about how this looks and whatnot. But this is running out of battery, so thank you guys very much. Well, I guess we'll see you in the next part.